Boy, you know what time it is.
Welcome to the Bromigos Podcast.
Fuck her right in the pussy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Bromigos Podcast. No Panama Red today, and I will bring that up in 1 second. But I am one of your co-hosts, the Undercover Brotha, and I am joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend,
the Hoochieman. Hoochieman holding down as always.
You are once again holding it down. No Mike, man. No. I feel bad. I feel bad for Mike right now. Mike's been telling us the last couple days he's got an internet issue, right? So they go to fix his internet issue. Keep in mind, for those of you that are new to the show, Mike currently lives in Germany. Shout out Germany. Well, I don't know about shout out Germany after I tell this story. And I don't want to put Mike's business out there, but I'm not going to be super specific. But I will say this. When you call a Wi-Fi or cable Wi-Fi service and they come to your house and they make the issue worse than what it was before they got there, that's a shit internet service and probably a shit handyman at the same time. Because goddamn, Mike was fine. He says his Wi-Fi was doing okay earlier in the week. They go to fix it, make it a little bit faster, maybe. I don't know. Turns out the entire thing gets fucked up. I feel so bad for him. I miss him. I miss Panama Red. But you know what? I'll say this much, though, to start this episode. First of all, I want to thank everybody for the support of this show the last year, because we actually just passed the 1 year anniversary of the show this past week, and just also passed 2,000 total downloads for the show, and that's not including the YouTube views either. So again, we greatly appreciate the fact that you guys support our show, even when we are completely all kinds of fucked up, because we got no Mike. Dante's taking a leave of absence. I might as well say that now. It's a shame. So when Mike gets back, hopefully it's going to feel like the old days again. But for now, it's just going to be me and Hunter trying to hold it down as best we can to entertain each and every single one of you. And we have a lot of stories that we want to talk about today. So, Hunter, what would you like to start with? I'll let you choose.
Well, I guess we can start out with Garth Brooks. So this was...
This is fucking stupid, by the way. So Go ahead, tell the story.
So Garth Brooks is basically opening a bar in Nashville, and it's going to be serving all kinds of alcohol, which includes Budlight, and people are flipping out over it, trying to cancel him over it. Yes, Garth Brooks, the country music singer of over 35 years, trying to cancel him because he's serving Budlight in his own bar. And the people online are just... I just don't understand where they get this hate from, like for inclusivity or diversity. Well, that's what he referenced.
I think he said diversity, but I think he really meant to say inclusivity in that article.
Yeah, like his bar is going to be inclusive, where like everyone can come in, no matter race, color, who you like, who you love. It doesn't matter. Everyone's welcome.
If you run a bar, your number one priority goal is to make sure everybody can come, because if nobody wants to come to your bar, you're not going to make any money and your shit's going to go under. I've seen enough bar rescue to know this. All right. So here's my take on the situation. The fact that this is still being talked about is fucking lame. So I want to preface this before I really get into it. I want to preface what I had witnessed at a bar last night. I was drinking with my brother. We went to Bar A over in Belmar, New Jersey, and it was country night, right? So considering that Garth Brooks is a country artist, and there was country music playing all throughout this bar, we had a good time. I was drinking. I wasn't drinking Bud Light because I don't like light beer, and I don't like drinking basically watered down bread. I had Blue Moon like a proper gentleman. So basically, there's country people all over the place, like people that love country music. I must have seen at least 3 or 4 Bud Light bottles at the bar last night. So where the fuck is all this outrage coming from, man? This doesn't make any fucking sense to me, because the key demographic that more or less Garth Brooks is catering to is country people or country music fans in general, right? So then I'm here at this other bar. Now, granted, it's not Garth Brooks' bar, but I'm here at this other bar, And I'm seeing people still drinking Bud Light. And this is apparently the demographic that supposedly hates Bud Light now because of all the gay and Pride Month bullshit, okay? So, one, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Two, why the fuck are 40-year-old people drinking Bud Light still? I don't know what to say at this point. So, what I will say is this, and I will take a quote from one of the greatest comedies of our time, and that is Tropic Thunder and Robert Downey Jr.'s famous line, everybody knows you never go full retard, man. Because that's literally how I view this entire situation of Garth Brooks fucking taking heat for this. And listen, I'm not a big country music guy, right? I don't even care for Garth Brooks all that much either. But it's a business, dude. A bar is a business. People go there to drink. And if Bud Light is an option, there's hundreds of other beers you could pick too. Literally on the menu.
Yeah, literally.
Don't like Bud Light, get something else.
Yeah.
Bar has options. Like I said, I drink Blue Moon. I'm a sophisticated young gentleman. I don't drink watered down bread like a fucking loser frat boy in college.
If only it were that simple, but no. People like to nitpick over something as little as that. Like there's literally bigger issues going on in the world right now, rather than spending your time focused on hating an individual simply for serving a brand of beer that all Bud Light did was just do a little promotion with Dylan Mulvaney.
Whoever the fuck it is at this point. I don't know who this person was before the whole Bud Light thing, but goddamn, they're basically he, she, they, whatever the fuck. They almost single-handedly tanked Bud Light's reputation just by doing nothing, which is hilarious.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really see it as that big a deal. And if that enrages you that much to go on and boycott it, then I mean, okay, go for it. But the only thing destroying it. Sorry to interrupt you.
The only thing that bothered me about this whole thing was the fact that it was because of what was it? They got the bottle with their face on it because of 1 year of a transition, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was just a promotion because it happened before or during the NCAA tournament too. So that's what they were trying to do with that promotion.
Yeah. So, and apparently it was to commemorate this person's 1 year transitioning period. There's anniversary or whatever.
Yeah.
That's also what I read anyway. I could be wrong. My problem with that was if you're going to do this for, say, this influencer that's celebrating 1 year, now you got to do it for everybody. And who knows how many logistical issues you have to go through to make sure everybody is either telling the truth or whatever the fuck, just to make sure all these personalized cans go out to them, and you have to waste the materials for it when you could just be making regular bottles of beer and yada, yada, yada. That's the only issue I have with it, is just the fucking business logistics of it all, because that's just how I think. But the promotion side of it is like, okay, cool. Yeah, they want to cater to the community, whatever the fuck. All right, cool. Good for them. It's not going to last long anyway, unless, it was coming up on Pride Month. So obviously Pride Month is an entire month of woo, gay. So that's what it is. So it was perfect timing, more or less. And everybody's just getting fucking upset about it. And like I said, 40-year-old people, it's 40 plus people that are getting upset about this. I don't know.
Boomers. It's all the boomers are pissed off over something so stupid because they're going to die in like 10 years anyway. So they're just like, I might as well spend the rest of my time eating Bud Light over something so dumb and hold on to that grudge until the day they die. That's one thing I just don't understand, because from someone like, okay, sports, it's different, but when it's like real life issues, it Bud Light over like poverty, like child hunger, or
you're just quoting Lily. You're just quoting Lily from last week's episode now, because she said the same thing. It's like they're putting their energy into the wrong things. It's beer. Most beer sucks. Let's be honest here. I like drinking like Blue Moons and certain other types of beer, but most light beer anyway is fucking trash.
I'm a seltzer kind of guy. I like my seltzers. I like my Trulies.
Pussy. I'm kidding. Listen, man, with all due respect, Hunter, I don't know how you could be 21, right? 22 and drinking seltzers like that, man. I'm sorry. I gotta clown you a little bit on that. You'll never catch me dead with a fucking seltzer in my hand, but either way. So listen, Garth Brooks, shout out to you. I guarantee you people are still going to go to the bar.
Oh yeah, there's still going to be people going to the bar, but I don't know how many of them are going to go to the bar and like protest, like, oh, they're serving Bud Light. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm reading through the article too. Garth Brooks is looking at this as a business owner because again, this is his bar. He said Bud Light is, although it's trending down, it's still one of the most popular beers in America. And as a bar owner, he will sell it, and that he would let the patrons decide whether to buy it or not. Yeah,
exactly. Again, a bar has options. Pick something else. Second of all, it's Nashville. People are going to fucking flock to that bar. Do you know how many people in the last like 2 weeks have told me in my job, I work for a country station. Do you know how many people at my job have come up to me, and I've had conversations with plenty of people about it. How many people have told me they went to Nashville and how good Nashville is?
Oh yeah,
like,
I'm sure.
So many fucking people. So because Nashville is such a popular destination right now for traveling and especially country music fans, they're still going to fucking go. They're going to go. They're going to be upset about it for a couple of days. And then they're going to go. They're going to plan their fucking couple $100,000, or not 100,000, but, a couple $1,000 trip in total to go to Nashville. And then they're going to fucking drink their lives away and listen to some fucking guy trying to make it big on Broadway. And hopefully someone signs him or whatever. So, I mean, like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to go to Garth Brooks' bar. They're going to go to Jason Aldean's bar. They're going to go to Kid Rock's bar. Remember Kid Rock?
Oh, yeah.
When he was shooting the fucking Bud Light cans and shit. They're still going to fucking go to these places, dude. No matter how upset that this individual makes them feel, they're still going to fucking go. So it's all, again, we use this term a lot recently, selective outrage. Selective outrage doesn't last long because people have the fucking attention spans of an ant. So
yeah, nowadays. And another thing, they're trying to cancel Garth Brooks the person too. Like, good luck trying to do that. It's over 35 years making country music, and I've seen replies like, oh, you're turning away your fan base, this is what made you popular. I always knew this guy was a scum. Huh? What? Over beer? Over Bud Light?
Everyone knows you never go full retard.
People.
Anyhow, to transition from this point, because I think this is another, you said this before the show we started recording, Modelo apparently is now the number one beer in America, right?
Yeah. So like a little more than 8% sales over the year, and Bud Light's at like 7%.
Okay, so they're slightly beating them, which is funny because I see Modelo advertised a lot on, say, like UFC, MMA, and all that sort of stuff, because I think they're a sponsor of UFC. So any UFC related televised event, their Modelo's getting at least like fucking 10 airs on there. So it's just funny because you made a good point about something, that who owns Modelo?
Well, outside of the U.S., it's Anheuser-Busch.
So outside of the U.S., Anheuser-Busch owns Modelo, who also owns Bud Light. So you mean to tell me people are going to be, I'm not going to fucking buy Bud Light. Fuck Anheuser-Busch. Fuck this and fuck that. And then all of a sudden they realize they're still supporting the same company because Anheuser-Busch owns like fucking 10 of the most popular beers in the world right now under their brewing monopoly.
Yeah, you could just, we won't drink Bud Light. We'll drink Budweiser. Oh, that's a Busch.
It's literally a shittier version of Bud Light. It's a shittier version of, not shittier. Bud Light's a shittier version of Budweiser. And Modelo is more or less like is another version of Dos Equis or whatever. Because I've had Dos Equis, and that's the closest thing I could fucking compare it to. So
like, we'll just have Stella Artois. Oh no, that's a product also. We'll have Natty Light. Oh no, that's another product.
It is Stella and Anheuser-Busch. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Stella Artois. It's Anheuser.
Dude, I fuck with Stella, man. I can go for a Stella right now. Thank you for fucking bringing that up. If it makes all the fucking like hardcore Republicans, because I guarantee you, like, it's only the hardcore conservatives that are angry about this. Like normal people, normal Republicans or moderates like you and myself are. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit that this is happening.
I don't let it control my life. I don't lose sleep over fucking whatever Bud Light does or what Anheuser-Busch or Modelo or whatever. Yeah, I don't let it get to me. Shout out to the motorcyclist that's been revving his motorcycle for the past 5 minutes and now going up and down my street. And I don't know
he probably hates Budlight too, because
drive a motorcycle to own the libs.
He knows you live there and that you're talking shit, and that he's gonna rev it just to try and ruin the recording. But oh man. So transitioning off of that, I do have another point of view of the whole Pride Month stuff, because keep in mind, this is all related to Pride Month in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on from beer to activities that you can do while drinking beer, and that is video games.
Mm-hmm.
So how familiar are you with the Nick Mercs controversy?
I'm pretty familiar from using to watch him and Tim the Tatman Ninja, all those guys playing Fortnite back in my day. It's like 4 years ago. I'd still keep up with whatever Nick Mercs is doing every now and then. But yeah, I really don't think that what he said is that big a deal.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Before I have the article pulled up in front of me, you're just jumping ahead, man. Goddamn. Look at you. You're really taking charge today. I'm proud of you. But so I have a Dexerto article here. I think that's how you fucking say it. I don't even know. So Nick Mercs drew the ire of thousands of Twitter users on June 8th. So this is a couple weeks ago, but it's still very prevalent, upon sharing a controversial, quote unquote, Pride Month comment, which was a reply to some tweet. He literally just replied to some tweet, and that's when the whole shitstorm started. After claiming that children should be, quote unquote, left alone in schools and not educated on LGBTQ topics, the streamer became the focal point amid a wave of backlash. The next morning, he took to Twitch and stood by his comments, assuring that he didn't mean to upset anybody, but nonetheless reiterating that he believes school is no place to speak about things like that. It's not that I think it shouldn't be spoken about. This is his quote now. I think if that's what you got from the tweet, then you're just wrong. Since then, he went. There's a whole clip online too that that you can search up. He basically more or less said that he's talked to his wife and whatever, and if they have kids, whether or not they have kids or not, I have no clue. They think that they're better off educating the kid as opposed to, say, an elementary school teacher or early middle school teacher doing it for them. Because, and I feel like that's where I've seen a lot of the controversy, because I've seen a lot of like elementary school and early middle school educators like really hammer home this Pride Month thing for them. And I don't quite understand why, to be honest with you. And that's where I kind of see his point of view on the subject. Now, I'll be the first to say I'm no Nick Mercs fan. He actually has me blocked on Twitter and for some shit because he actually got into a beef, which resulted in getting one of my favorite creators on YouTube at the time's channel banned. And I think he's a massive fucking bitch and a pussy and a shameful Italian. I think he's Italian or something. He claims to be this masculine Italian dude, but he got offended over fucking thumbnails on YouTube like a little bitch. But in this case, though, I will take his side on the matter to some degree, because I think while the quote is just sort of entirely taken, I feel like once he explained it in that Twitch clip, it doesn't come off as bad. But when you just read it at face value, I can see where some of his comments get people offended.
Yeah, but he doesn't want, like, you know, the kids in elementary school learning about that stuff or having it being forced onto them. Like, for me personally, I can't go back and think about 6-year-old me or 7-year-old me, you know, still.
Yeah, neither can I. I mean, I'll be 26 in like fucking 2 weeks. I don't fucking remember what happened to me when I was in 6th grade. And it certainly wasn't any of that shit. Yeah. So from what I do remember,
I couldn't fathom learning that as a kid growing up, like about LGBTQ. Like, how I found out about it was during the middle school times, you know, where you're hitting puberty and things are starting to change. And then, oh, what's this? Oh,
but are you being taught about it? This is where I have to ask you the question. Well, are you being taught about it, or are you just experiencing it through social interactions with other people in your classes?
No,
there's a difference.
Experiencing through social interactions, but there have been some, like there were a couple kids in middle school that I went with that were
You can kind of tell that they were a little.
They were a little fruity. Which
you can tell they were a little fruity. It's fair. It's fair. Listen, I had the same experiences when I was in middle school too, early middle school, and then in high school it becomes blatantly evident that hey, they're gay, and it's like cool. I don't talk to them. I don't really give a fuck. I've said this before plenty of times, and it sounds harsh to say. I don't give a fuck if people are gay or trans or anything. It doesn't affect my sphere of influence. What you do doesn't affect my sphere of influence, but stop fucking forcing it into my sphere of influence. And I'm not just talking about the general of pride community or LGBT community, just like true.
Well, back in my day, and it's sad to say back in my day, but when I first learned of it in middle school, it's just LGBT. And then the Q was like a year later, and now they're adding more stuff to it, which I go for it, I guess. But
what did we call them on this show? The alphabet people? Or did I hear someone call it the alphabet people on a different podcast? Because that's just what I call the community now. I just call them the alphabet people. I say it as like a half joke. Like I don't give a shit that. Here's my thing. So I think people are going to take this and misconstrue it in some way, shape, and form. I know for a fact, and I've learned this when I was in college in like history classes and stuff, that the LGBT community fought hard for the rights that they have now.
Oh my God. They added more to it.
Sorry?
I was just looking up what it is now. They added a number. It's LGBTQIA2S+. What are we doing? Like I'm not offended by, like you said, I don't care if you're gay, straight.
I'm confused off what those trans, last couple ones
whatever.
Are.
Yeah. So it's I was trying to figure out because it was LGBTQIA, but now there's 2S. So it's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and or questioning, intersex, asexual, two-spirit, and more. Whatever that means.
All right, you lost me. I'm sorry. Yeah. Everything I was about to say, y'all just lost me. No, but seriously, they did for many years. They did fight for a lot of rights, and the whole idea of Pride Month and the whole Pride Day when they legalized gay marriage, which is actually my birthday, surprisingly, they fought for that. And I'm not shitting on that at all, but I feel like some people within the community are taking it way too far. They're just taking it to a point where, and it's not like anyone's taking away their rights, because I feel like there are some issues in the trans community specifically where they think they're taking their rights away. What? To compete in sports that trans athletes more or less probably shouldn't compete in, like male transitioning to female and such. Like, didn't they just ban that a couple months ago? They just banned that in college sports.
I think in some states they did. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that I am not for. Like, if you're born a man, you can't transition into female and say do MMA like with female wrestlers, because no, that just doesn't.
Yep, that I remember there was a story with MMA that got very popularized, and Dana White, who's the president of UFC, excuse me, he was very against it after seeing that video of that more or less transitioning female, we'll say, beating the living shit out of a regular female. Like, if you watch women's MMA, I'm not saying it's completely different because it's still the same martial arts tactics and things of that nature, but the way they fight and how they fight is painfully different from a man's fight.
Yeah, it's still good, but it's
still good. Like, it's still good either way, but you can't have like a fucking transitioning male fight against a regular woman in an MMA fight. It's just not possible. And I know someone's going to fucking be offended by that, and they're going to be all up in arms about it, where it's just like, no, watch the video. I've seen the video. I've seen plenty of videos on the subject. It should not be happening. But yeah, it's just, so back to Nick Mercs though, because we've gotten to a whole different tangent.
Yeah.
Probably will get us canceled in some way, shape, and form.
We've been canceled.
We've been canceled. Let's be honest. And we've been canceled, yet no one's tried to cancel us, which is fine. So they took away his operator pack because of this whole controversy stuff that he said. Call of Duty, Activision took away his operator pack, which, let's be honest, I think it's funny that this is the hill that they choose to die on, Activision as a company. Because if you remember, last year or a year prior, there was a whole controversy on how sexual harassment, things of that nature, a female coworker committed suicide because of the abuse she had suffered. So that's the hill that they choose to die on, is the whole Pride Month stuff with this popular streamer that clearly invested a lot of time and money into to promote their game. Now they're going to say, fuck you. We're going to pull your operator pack. And it's gotten a lot of people in the community riled up, man. It's gotten even a lot of people in the Call of Duty community riled up because the game, Call of Duty in general, has been shit, and it's been shit for a very long time. The dev team doesn't know how to fucking make good games anymore, depending on who you ask. The corporate structure, the company structure within Activision is a complete shit show. As I just said, numerous instances of sexual assault and harassment. So this is what they choose to die on is, Pride Month. That's really it. Now,
Tim the Tatman basically said, you know what, I'm going to die on that hill too. Take my shit out of the game.
Well, yes, I was going to transition into that. Thank you for saying that. So Tim the Tatman, granted, it was a little bit late. Let's be honest with you. He waited like a day or two to.
Well, he had talks with Nick internally before publicly coming out.
Yeah, but if that was me, I would have been like in a couple of hours. I would have done it. I would have talked to Nick ASAP. I would have talked to Nick about the situation and say, dude, I stand with you. I'm going to have them pull my shit as soon as I can. He waited like 2 or 3 days almost for that. Maybe 2, almost 3 days to have that shit pulled. He probably wanted to make a couple more chunks of change before he wasn't going to get anything else out of it. So he had that pulled. Dr. Disrespect has also completely stopped playing the game entirely, from what I understand, based on the whole Nick Mercs situation. So that's three popular streamers that are already done with the game or done with Activision in some way, shape, or form. Granted, could also be another form of selective outrage, but it could be a testament of standing in solidarity with their fellow streamer for some bullshit. Because again, I don't think what Nick said is entirely wrong. He just doesn't think that in specifically younger grades, they shouldn't have this forced upon them. Like, I've seen a whole bunch of like fucking elementary schools put out like pride parades for these, and these kids are like waving the rainbow flags around. They're dressed in rainbow stuff. These teachers are all like hyping it up. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense, man.
No.
So and I'm not sure if you have any teachers in your family. My sister is a teacher and she teaches in the South now. She used to teach here. And I don't think they fucking do any of that shit, given that the South is a little bit more of a Republican area. But I can't fathom a young kid trying to understand what the whole dynamics of sexuality are, being gay, being bisexual, because they don't know what that is.
They're still 6. When I was 6 years old, all I wanted to do was go outside, frolic around, and
please don't say that again. Please don't say that again.
Well, you're frolicking. Around. You're jumping in the field. You're
say playing in the fields or the playground or something. Don't say frolicking. God damn it.
Nah, you're frolicking. You're having a good time. You're jumping. Some of the kids were eating grass and playing with dirt, eating dirt or whatever. Like, they're just doing stupid shit that kids do nowadays. Yeah. Well, nowadays, if they're still out going outside.
And I see where Nick was coming from, where it's like he said that in that Twitch stream, he said like he and his wife would want to have a conversation first with their kids to explain to them like what could be. And then I guess instead of letting these teachers who, depending on how woke you want to be about the subject, they're indoctrinating the kids, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like I feel like some of these teachers do try to do that, but I don't think it's all of them. It could just be the school board trying to do it. It could be anything, It's just, what do you think on that subject?
Yeah, I feel like at this point, school board might be pressed to do something. Because if say you're in a school district, some teachers are teaching their kids this, some teachers aren't. Like, it's not being forced yet. Like, there could be a handful of teachers out there that are like, you know what, I'm going to educate my kindergarten class or first grade class on so-and-so LGBTQ subject. And then there's others that don't. And then a parent in the class, shout out Motorcycle Man's back.
You talking shit about the gays again, Hunter? Here's my motorcycle again for you, boy.
My kids learn about gays. You got a problem with that? They're only 4.
They're only 4. That's preschool. They're fucking learning about that shit. Now, if they got to preschool, then there's an issue. There's an issue with preschool. Let's be honest.
Yeah, say a parent of a kid who's being taught this doesn't agree with it. Then they go to the school board about it. Then the school board has to make a decision. Well, this puts us in a tough spot. Do we allow it for all? Like, do we force it for everyone, or do we take it back and then punish the teacher for it, or whatever?
All right.
That's really kind of.
I have a solution. Because most elementary schools go from K to 6th grade now, right? If I'm not mistaken, or at least the earliest 5th grade.
That was for me, K through 6.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't have that. I was probably one of the rare occasions where elementary was K to 3, and then middle school was 4th to 8th. So keep it out of the elementary schools entirely. This is not this difficult, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it out of the elementary schools from K to 5th or 6th or whatever, because clearly kids are not going to be able to either understand or handle it yet. And then in middle school,
aren't fully developed yet.
Hold on. In middle school, that's where you could kind of start to delve into it a little bit and not go so complex, like basic shit, basic curriculum of the shit. Not saying you have to go into so much of the history or anything. Save that for high school. High school, go a little bit deeper into it. Then if like health class, teach them the complexities of it a little. And then in college, if that's what they choose to do, they can learn about it more there, because there's plenty of fucking college professors that'll be chopping at the bit to teach them all this shit. Mm-hmm. It's not that difficult. Just keep it out of the elementary schools, man. They're not going to understand what the fuck they're talking about. And most kids don't know they're gay until they get to middle school anyway. Yeah. So
unless you sway them from like a young age, like 6 or 7, when you're forcing stuff.
That's a different story for a different time. That's a different conversation for a different time. And I wish Mike was here to have this conversation with us. I know him being an older guy, it was much, much different for him than what it was for us.
You know what? I was gonna bring this up about the LGBTQ stuff. Do you think that, because I don't know why all of a sudden recently there's just this massive hate for it. Do you think that the Supreme Court reversing the decision of same-sex marriage, do you think that had an impact on it? Or abortion? Okay.
Yeah, because same-sex marriage is still legal in every state.
Okay.
It was abortion. But I feel like it could have... Yeah. I feel like the feminism side of the LGBTQ community could possibly be an issue for that.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, they were... I feel like... You know what? Yeah, it was about that. They were talking about the same-sex marriage, but that never came to fruition.
Oh, wait, you're right. They did. Yeah, they remember something being brought up. I don't remember it being entirely brought up or completely going through, but I do remember that the issue was brought up that they could take away gay marriage, and I could see that that could be some sort of backlash to that.
Oh, but there was major backlash for this old guy who wanted to reverse something along the lines of like wanted to go back to like the 50s or 60s, whatever, as far as racial.
Nice try, pal. Oh yeah, shit, I remember hearing about this too.
Yeah, I can't remember specifically what it was, but it was something along the lines of that, and that got pretty bad for him. A lot of hate towards there.
Tell me you're still a racist without telling me you're still a racist. So
yeah. As soon as you hear someone go, "Man, I got black friends," you're like, yeah, sure. Then that's how you know.
It's like that's like me saying because Mike calls me the N-word, I have to pass, right? That makes about as much sense as that. But
yeah.
Let's be honest with you. All right, so let's move away from the controversial shit. Let's talk about a little more about the fun stuff going on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of things going on in sports and sports media. Obviously, the NBA Finals has just concluded. So has the Stanley Cup. Nuggets won it all to the surprise of literally fucking nobody.
I just ate some nuggets.
Yes, you did, and a chicken sandwich. So which is basically arguably just a bigger nugget. Anyway,
shout out. I got it right here. Shout out McDonald's. This purple shake. For those wondering what flavor it is, because I was trying to figure it out. Blueberry pomegranate. It's actually pretty good.
Don't fucking explain it. They don't sponsor us. Don't give them free advertising.
It tastes good.
Fuck that. But anyway, the Nuggets won the NBA Finals, which I don't know about you. Did you see the last game?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
That has got to be Dante, when he was on the show, talked about it to some degree at one point when the season had just started. The quality of basketball in that final game of the NBA Finals has got to be some of the worst quality of basketball I've ever seen, ever.
If you bet the under, congrats, because you won big time.
I bet you did. I bet a lot of people did. And
it was a 94-89. Neither team scored 100 points.
Yeah, that was terrible. And and the game didn't get good until the fourth quarter, which is even sadder. Like the game was like subpar at best. It felt like a fucking normal season game. And then the fourth quarter picked up and it became a fun game again. But congrats to Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic.
Why do I keep saying? I keep thinking it's Nikolai. Nikola Jokic. Excuse me. He's a beast, dude. He didn't have a great he didn't have a great last game, but he had a spectacular playoffs in general. The man was averaging he had like 10 total triple doubles throughout the entire playoffs.
I think so. I think he had 2 triple doubles in the finals.
Yeah, he did. I think the first game, and I think like the second or third game, he and Jamal Murray got triple doubles that game, which is even crazier.
Yeah,
but bro, man,
Jamal Murray went crazy in the playoffs too. He was actually the leading. And I only know because I use FanDuel. There's a thing where you could bet on who's the leading assists leader in the finals. Nikola Jokic was like minus 10,000, which is like, for those that don't bet, it's a really stupid low number where you'd have to bet $1 million to win like $5. And Jamal Murray was plus 1,800. So if you put $10 down, you would have won $1,800 because Jamal Murray was the leading assist leader in the NBA Finals. So someone turned $5 into $1,000 solely from that. So shout out to whoever that guy is. But yeah, Jamal Murray went nuts in the postseason, well, the NBA Finals, postseason as a whole. But yeah, he played lights out.
I'm gonna say something very controversial here. If you want my honest opinion, watching Jokic play, I don't understand how Joel Embiid got MVP for the regular season. I truly.
No, I'm the same way.
I'm going to be 100% honest, and Mike's going to fucking crucify me if he hears this, but he will crucify me.
I don't think he'll do that.
No.
Because you're a Knicks fan, he might. But
no, because I'm a Knicks fan, yes. But I'm coming at this from a very objective point of view, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Very objectively. So I watched Jokic play in the playoffs. I didn't get a chance to watch him in the regular season, but I could just see the way he plays and how dominant he is, man. Like, I get Embiid is good. I think he's good for what his role is on the Sixers. However, if you want my honest fucking opinion, him winning MVP was completely a political move. Because there's no goddamn way that he had any reason to win when Jokic was playing out of his fucking mind for the entire season, even in the playoffs. If the fucking playoffs was involved in the MVP for the regular season, which I know it's impossible, but Jokic would have won in a fucking landslide.
Yeah.
This was purely a sympathy vote MVP because it's like, oh, Jokic is going to whine. Not Jokic, excuse me. Embiid is going to whine and bitch again if he doesn't get it, which, again.
See, I don't understand because he really didn't complain about it. He's like, I don't care. If they vote me, they vote me. If they don't, they don't. He's like, I'm just focused on winning the championship, and he didn't do that.
I don't know because I've heard different points of view on the subject and how he was at one point pretty concerned with getting MVP as opposed to fucking winning the title, which Dante said it was Philly that was more or less concerned about it. Philly as a whole was so concerned about the fucking MVP race that they didn't realize that they had the entire fucking playoffs to get through.
Well, from Jokic winning the past 2 seasons and Embiid, he had better numbers this year than he did the year prior, and which the year prior I thought he should have won MVP because, and especially because Jokic played without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. a season ago.
But if Jokic could still do that good without Jamal Murray and Porter Jr., then what does that say about Jokic?
Yeah, he's good. But I remember specifically got in an argument with someone on Twitter about this last season, and I basically summed it up for them. So you're telling me that with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back, Embiid should win MVP then, because then they'd have their role players back, and then they can each ball out on their own, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and they basically agreed with me. And then halfway through the seasons, I think we might give Jokic his third MVP. It's like, no, you got to draw a line somewhere because during the season, I'm a Sixers fan. I'm biased. Up until that point, I thought that Embiid was the better player. And especially their one-on-one, when Embiid dropped 47 points on him and won, I thought, okay, that should set the tone. And then he doesn't play in Denver. Okay, cool. And then Jokic balls out in the postseason. Okay, cool. And then the Sixers don't get past the second round again. Okay, cool. And then Jokic is the Western Conference Finals MVP. All right, cool. And then he wins the finals. All right, great. And now he's Finals MVP. Also great.
Philly's cursed. Philly is cursed. You guys are just fucking ass. I'm sorry. And I say this as a Knicks fan. You guys are ass. Because at least I didn't have...
This team went on a postseason run for the first time in 11 years and almost won the World Series. But
we're not talking about the Phillies, though.
I'm talking about the Philly sports in general. The Phillies, the Union, the Eagles, the Sixers. They're all great teams. But when it comes to the postseason and the championship, they can't get it done.
Listen, how do you think New York teams feel? You know how long it's been since the New York team has won a championship? Well, granted, the New York City FC, they won, I think, the MLS in like the fucking weird timed finals because of COVID and shit. So they won, but that's the MLS. No one gives a fuck about the MLS, right? As far as Yankees, Giants, and who else? Rangers. Oh, Jesus, the Rangers on a fucking drought, let me tell you. And the Knicks, we're starving, okay? Yankees haven't won since 2009. Giants haven't won since 2012. It's been well over 10 years now since their last championship. Outside of the fucking MLS championship that New York Football Club won, they haven't won a title. They haven't done shit, all right? So don't fucking tell me. Don't fucking come to me where you guys have three teams in 1 year that go to championship games and lose. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't. Because you guys at least had an opportunity. And not one of you won. Not one of you capitalized on it. So I don't want to hear shit. Okay? The odds of you winning at least one of those was good. Okay? The odds of you winning at least one of those championships was good.
Out of all the postseason runs that the Philly sports teams had over the last year, the one for me that hurts the most is the Phillies. Because I've been such a fan of the Phillies as long as I can remember. Especially in their down years when 2011, they went from the best team in baseball to the worst team in their division, and then basically spent the next 5-6 years rebuilding. And then they get Harper, they get all these guys, they get Castellanos, Schwarber, they get Trey Turner. Now they have solid pitching, and then they go on a magical postseason run where literally they started out of the 12 playoff teams at the bottom. They were the 12th best of 12, but yeah, they were given such low odds. They make it out of the wild card game with the Cardinals. And then that first postseason game at Citizens Bank Park against the Braves. Absolute insanity. The crowd was great. And then they beat the Braves. They beat the Padres. Bryce Harper hits that home run in the left field. Probably one of the best moments of my life that I can remember. And then them going to the World Series. And it just seemed to... It just seemed like it was going to be a perfect Cinderella story of the Phillies and how they barely made the postseason, barely had a winning record, barely made the postseason, and then we're going to win the World Series.
Okay, so then I also forgot to mention the fact that there are more teams that I did not mention. I just mentioned my favorite teams, okay? We're also not talking about the Islanders. We're not talking about Brooklyn, which are fucking frauds, by the way. We're not talking about, oh, God, who else? The Mets. The Mets recently had a chance. Yeah, so... Here's the thing. Statistically speaking, New York has more chance of winning a championship because of the sheer amount of teams in the general area, New York, New Jersey, than any fucking team outside of Texas and California. Outside of Texas and California, those are like the only other regions that actually matter when it comes to winning championships.
Yeah, because they're such a big state. New York, they fit everything in that Manhattan bubble.
Exactly. So, technically speaking, even with the chances that you guys had last year, you ain't shit. And you weren't shit this year with the Sixers. I'm sorry, Mike. You know I love you. And it's just, yes, it's coming from a Knicks fan. But this is an objectively sports take. You guys had, statistically speaking, at least one chance to win a championship out of all the teams that were involved in those championships last year, and you fucked it all up. So I don't know, as well as earlier this year.
Fuck the Sixers.
Yeah,
I'm tired of this shit. I can't. All that this back to the final subject. All this showed me is that I cannot trust the Sixers at all. Doesn't matter how good of a regular season they have. If you can't make it past the second round, I can't take you seriously. And I did call for Embiid to win the MVP from the beginning of the season because I saw it as TJ Watt. He didn't win his first 2 years, the 2 years that he should have won, so he's going to win the third year. That's what happened with Embiid. But with the way everything played out in the finals and the postseason with Nikola Jokic, it's just that he's too damn good. And let's not shy away from the fact that he doesn't give a damn at all about what trophy he wins. MVP, finals MVP, finals trophy. It don't matter. It's just, all right, Nikola Jokic, you just won the finals. What are you going to do now? I want to go home.
I don't know. It's the fact that he's just Serbian. The fact that he's just Serbian or what? Is he Serbian, right? He's some sort of Eastern European. Eastern Europeans have no fucking emotion whatsoever. Them and Germans are probably some of the most emotionless fucking people in Europe of all time. But it's either that or he's just so humble. And I could appreciate that. There's not enough players in sports in general that are very humble. And
I just think he don't give a damn about whatever it is. He just wants to FaceTime his horses. Basketball is a side quest. It really crazy. Is. That's the demeanor he gives. Oh, it's funny.
Now
he's so damn good. He can retire now and be one of the best ever.
I'd say one of the best. Yeah, I could make that argument. Yeah, however, keeping on the topic of basketball, where the fuck is the Ja Morant news? NBA Adam Silver. What the fuck? I've been waiting for 3 days, man.
After the finals.
I've been waiting for 3 days to see what's going to happen to Ja Morant. What's taking y'all motherfuckers so long? What the fuck, man? But now watch as soon as we stop recording and go do our guest appearance on Mass Debaters.
Shout out.
That'll be coming out soon at some point. We'll talk about it. Watch it'll happen during that recording when they finally release the fucking suspension. And I guarantee you it's going to be at least half the season. If it's not half the season, then I don't know what the fuck we've been waiting for so long for. And I don't know what the fuck the memes have been for then if it wasn't for us completely clowning Ja Morant. I've been seeing memes all over the place. Ja Morant suspended indefinitely for showing a nuclear bomb on IG Live. I've been sending this shit to Dante like it's fucking nothing, dude. I've been laughing my ass off about this whole thing. But for real, what the fuck, NBA? I'm waiting on this Ja Morant news. I need something to talk about.
Yeah, but all day.
Speaking of, and last but certainly not least, speaking of sports news, Unc Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe leaves Undisputed. How do you feel about that?
Well, this should be interesting for Skip Bayless now. And what
I think it's interesting for Sharpe. I'll let you speak, but I think it's interesting for both parties. But
it's definitely interesting for both. I just think it's going to be more interesting for Skip because who's he going to debate with now? Is it going to be like how First Take is, where instead of Stephen A versus Max, it's so and so? They're going to have Mad Dog in on their sport too, or on their studio, whatever. It's going to rotate every other day. Is that something stupid, or is it just?
That's why I don't like.
Or is it going to be Skip debating a wall? Like he can literally make a show of him just debating a wall, and it's like, it's my turn, damn it.
But how will this affect LeBron's legacy, Wall?
You don't have much to say, Wall, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, much. I left you speechless. That's how right I am.
I just think I watched the last clip that when Shannon Sharpe was saying goodbye and how he was getting emotional. And I don't know if I felt some type of way about it. I'm not sure if that's the phrase to use. Very, I don't want to say awkward, but I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, man. The way that Shannon Sharpe and Skip said goodbye, considering all the reports that have been coming out since this announcement that he was leaving, because, I'm hearing things like, oh, their relationship deteriorated because of the DeMar Hamlin situation. And it's because of Skip blatantly disrespecting him with the Tom Brady playing at 45 deal that he's greater than you because he's playing at an older age, blah, blah, blah.
I think it both have something to do with it.
I think they do, but at the same time, I'm not sure because the way that they were interacting with each other, whether or not they were just being that, because maybe that could have happened behind the scenes and maybe that was the reason for Shannon Sharpe's buyout. But they seem to have a lot of respect and gratitude towards one another because, after all, what was Shannon Sharpe really doing before he went on to Undisputed?
Didn't he have something with NFL Network?
He was doing something.
Or that was Michael Irvin. I think it was
no,
Michael Irvin.
I think Sharpe was on CBS actually. I think Sharpe was on CBS doing the pregame stuff, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But CBS doesn't really have a massive sports network. What the fuck are you watching in the middle of a goddamn podcast?
Oh, I'm just trying to look up what show he was on.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck is that noise on the background?
I know he was on something.
I think it was CBS Sports because he was doing the pregames for like the day or whatever. I could be wrong, but that's why I remember the last time I saw him. But after that, he went on the Undisputed and he became like, let's be honest, he said it himself, everyone's TV uncle, you know?
I'm not seeing anything here other than that he had some Sirius XM radio show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was on CBS.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, pregame.
And then I think he's doing the podcast now, too, which he's also taking away from Fox Sports. So I guess Fox Sports is losing both the podcast and Sharpe on Undisputed. And that begs the question, what's Skip going to do? Because let's be honest, Skip is probably he's now pretty much the face of Fox Sports because without Undisputed, I think Fox Sports doesn't fucking exist. Or Fox Sports 1, I should say. Because them competing with ESPN the way that they were doing was blatantly
I'm still pissed
stupid.
about that because in order to get Fox Sports 1, they had to take away the Speed channel, which for me as a motorsports fan, that was all the motorsports, all the NASCAR stuff, all the.
They still do the NASCAR stuff though on Fox Sports 1. It's not like they don't have it on there.
Yeah, but it's not as much because it was like a car channel for like those car enthusiasts, motorsports enthusiasts. They took that away, replaced it with FS1. And I mean, yeah, they still cover it, but coverage now that sucks compared to like 10, 15 years ago.
Fair. Considering you're a fan of that demographic, and that makes sense to me.
Oh my God. So imagine trying to just watch a race and then every 5 seconds they cut to a close-up of kids in the stands. That's basically what it is for Fox now.
Yeah,
like
pretty much
it's just eerie. It's just eerie. It's just bad coverage.
They took away that for bass fishing at like fucking 10 o'clock on a Sunday. But anyway, but yeah, no, that was, I just wanted to say, because I didn't watch Undisputed all that much, but the clips I have seen, I enjoy Shannon Sharpe a lot more than I do. Skip! I do not like Skip Bayless at all. No, I think Skip Bayless, and I've said this publicly, I don't like Skip Bayless, but at least in the recent months or so, since that whole DeMar Hamlin situation that looked really bad for him, I think Skip got better, especially with the Ja Morant stuff, because you can see that when they were having their conversations, and the whole point is to fight it out more or less on Undisputed, they seemed to have the same points of view on the subject, and they were very respectful of it. You know, they were very respectful of the whole thing. So I don't know. I guess that kind of put Skip in my good graces again, considering he was reporting from an objective point of view and subjectively in some cases as well. But I don't know.
I still think he's a fucking idiot because he thinks Embiid's better than Jokic, even after the finals. It's just like, okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I have to agree with you on that. No, but yeah, man. Thanks for everything, Unc. Thanks for everything. You made my few times I've watched Undisputed bearable because I hate Skip Bayless.
They've taken part of his exit when he was crying, where they're just making memes over now. There was one that's like, me to my girl after I'm done 2 rounds. It's like, just remember, I gave you everything I had.
Oh man, that's great. I think
so many memes too.
That was so many good memes. Anyway, I think that wraps up today's episode. I hope everybody enjoyed this. We did the best we could with what we were given Panama's awful Wi-Fi situation. Hopefully next week or whenever we get in the stew again, we will be able to give you a proper show with the three of us. But in the meantime, while you wait for that, please support us on all your favorite podcasting platforms, which include Apple, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, the Good Pods app, Amazon, and so many more. If you have a podcasting app, odds are we're on it. Be sure to leave us feedback on your favorite podcasting platform as well, so I could read something on air and tell us how good or how not good at times we are. I don't really give a shit. Twitter. Bromigos Pod, you can find us on Twitter. Follow us there. Instagram and Facebook, the Bromigos Pod. TikTok, the Bromigos Podcast. And you can always find syndicated episodes of our show on Full Swap Radio, who has helped us tremendously in growing our show as well. So we thank them for that over the course of the last year. Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Please adjust that to your standard time zone. Do you have any final thoughts before we leave today?
Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube, or Grimace is going to come to your house and crush you in your sleep.
I completely forgot about the YouTube, so thank you.
Yep.
I completely forgot about the YouTube, so good on that. I see that's why we call you the Hoochie Man holding it down, man. He's
holding it down as always. Subscribe to the YouTube. You get to see our faces and our surroundings and all that other fun jazz.
You need to put some posters on your wall or something.
I had a bunch, but I just didn't want them anymore. So like you can kind of see this outline. This was a big Dale Jr. 88. Gone.
Not for nothing, but people at times on other shows I'm a part of joke that I look like I'm in a prison cell because there's like nothing on my walls from this angle when all the shit is fun, all the fun stuff is like behind the camera. You look like you're in a prison cell. So
no. I got a bunch of shit around me, but it's all stacked in corners somewhere.
Maybe we'll put we'll get like a big head of the Bromigos logo and put it on your back wall so you at least have something. At least you could promote us a little bit. But yeah, man, that's it for us this week. Episode 41, Bromigos Podcast. It's been fun. Don't try to cancel us. Peace.
You've been listening to the Bromigos Podcast.
Fuck you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Avita! That's okay! She'll be back. Another